Good morning. This is Mona, and this is my morning view. Today, Fall Edition 2025. It is Memory Monday. Memory Monday. Right now, blue skies with some clouds, but chilly. It is freezing, literally. All right. So, with that, today, Memory Monday, I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. A couple of things. Because I got them on my mind. And it's not Feisty Friday, but I'm feeling pretty feisty about it. Personal. All right. Okay. For starters, I have fasting blood work today. I have fasting blood work today because I missed my fasting blood work appointment last week. Totally didn't know I had it. Why? Because I didn't check my email. Why? Because I'm bombarded with email all the time, with multiple email accounts. And so I just tend to not look at it because it's just annoying. Yeah. So there's that. 2, if I would have just got something from the portal, I wouldn't have thought of nothing anyway. I've never received my reminders that way. They come in, but that's not how I get them. I get them on a text. That's how I get my reminders. I get them on my answering machine at home, not because I listen to my answering machine, because I don't. But if I happen to be home when it comes in, I hear it on the answering machine, because I don't answer it. I told you it's not Feisty Friday, but I'm feeling pretty feisty right now. All right. So, waving at a neighbor before the doggy realizes that he's walking the dog. Okay, so, yeah. So I missed my appointment last week because the text came in as a 5-digit number without its name attached. The amount of spam text, spam email, spam phone calls that I receive. I don't answer anything that I don't recognize. I don't look at anything that I don't recognize. Therefore, I missed my appointment. I knew I had an appointment in December, but that was my doctor's appointment, not my blood work appointment. So this morning I called in for an appointment to see if I could get one today, because tomorrow we're supposed to have 8 inches of snow. I'm not leaving my house. Why am I not leaving my house with 8 inches of snow? Well, I have a broken leg. Which brings me to my memory for Memory Monday. That the very first time I broke this leg, about 25 years ago, it's because it snowed. It snowed. And with that snow and my broken leg came an addiction to coffee. So now I not only had this broken leg, but when I got back to work, I went from a non-coffee drinker to an addiction to coffee. And that went on for multiple years. And then I was blessed enough to end the addiction. So I no longer am addicted to coffee. That's why I drink decaf Monday through Friday, and then I have my guilty little pleasure on the weekends. And sometimes if it's a long weekend or special occasions or dessert or at somebody's house, then I'll have a regular cup of coffee. But not enough times in a row for me to be addicted again. Now, brings me back to today. Today, I have fasting blood work, but I couldn't get a morning appointment. It is in the afternoon, after work. So, I have to go the morning without my decaf coffee, which I enjoy, nice warming yummy flavors of coffee that even though I'm not physically addicted, I have a mental addiction too. And not eating. And I've been having headaches for a couple of weeks without fasting. So, today, I'm hoping for a good day, no headaches, no weakness, get to my appointment, let the vampires take my blood so that I can have it ready and, for the commentary come Friday. Oh, yeah, so the first time I broke my leg was over 20 years ago. And it caused me to be addicted to coffee. Since then, I've broken the other leg. And now back to this leg. The feistiness really is, I haven't really been working on my peace daily. You know how I said it's an exercise daily. You work on peace daily. And that way, when the storms of life come in, then you're ready for it. And I've been getting a little flustered this past week. Okay. Cooking Thursday morning with a broken leg. I'm supposed to be on it for 15 minutes, then rest it for 45, then be on it for 15 minutes, rest it for 45, or can be on it for 15 minutes, rest it for 45. I'm not supposed to be on it for longer than 15 minutes. Well, I prepped the turkey. It was a little longer than 15 minutes to get it all prepped. But once it was prepped, my husband put it in the roaster pan and put it into the roaster, and he took over at that point. So I sat down on the couch to peel potatoes. So that way I'm resting my foot for the 45 minutes. I finished resting my foot for 45 minutes. I am then up on my foot for the next 3 hours. Plus. The aggravation was real. Things were not going well. I splashed Giblet water all over me. I'd gotten dressed. I'd taken a shower. I'd gotten dressed and spilled Giblet water all over my clothes. I had no time to change. Didn't even know what I could change into because I haven't been doing laundry because that's downstairs, not upstairs. So things not being able to move smoothly with a broken leg can get a little annoying. And then you throw the holidays onto it. You're throwing the holidays. You're like, there was 2 gimps and an old person and my husband doing the turkey to get this holiday up and running and going and happening. It ended up being 2 hours late. And then what? You eat for about a half an hour and then it's done. And then you're sitting there with an overstuffed belly in pain from eating too much because you wanted a little bit of everything. I didn't even have a bun. Didn't go there. And then I rested the rest of the afternoon because I was ordered to. But in the meantime, the other gimp and the other old person finished off everything, getting it all cleaned up. And it wasn't easy for them either. So I want to say thank you very much to those that were in the kitchen, that were helping, that were getting it done after we left here when the turkey was done. Because I don't have Thanksgiving at my house. I just cook for it. But my daughter had done the shopping. Why? Because I have a broken leg. I have not been in the store yet since I broke my leg. So all the stuff pretty much was at her house to be done. I had a bag of potatoes, which didn't need to be peeled because she peeled some herself. I should have just went over after I got the turkey ready and the giblets and stuffing stuff that I add to it ready, and then put all the stuff that I needed to bring over and taken it over, and we could have started sooner and it wouldn't have been 2 hours late. Things to take note, things to remember, things to improvise, things to edit. Those are the things that need to be done this week while they're still fresh on our minds. That's more of a Tips Tuesday thought. I'm all over the place today on my Memory Monday. So, yeah. It is not the first rodeo of an altered Thanksgiving. When I broke the other leg, it was during Thanksgiving time frame. And when I was on Vicodin for a cyst on my ovary rupturing the night before Thanksgiving, we have had some stories to tell. Some more stories to tell about the holidays. All right. And the next holiday is coming up quick. This holiday came up real quick on me, and having a broken leg just put me in a mood. And then having headaches, not feeling well, having physical therapy, and then the attack of the email and texts that are mostly spam that causes me to miss those things that I need to see. Why? Because I haven't been practicing peace daily. And it showed. It showed when I got frustrated on Thursday. It showed when I was upset last night about finding out that I missed my appointment. So I'm like, okay, I missed my appointment, and all the bad scenarios rushed to my head. And I'm talking to my husband about all the bad scenarios. And I'm not going to go over them again today because I'm not saying it. I'm not speaking it out. I'm going to see what works for my good. I'm going to see how things are taken care of. And if they're not taken care of, being okay with that. Because guess whose fault it really is? Guess whose fault it really is for missing my appointment? Mine. My fault. So, that is my Memory Monday. Broken legs, addiction to coffee, fasting blood work, spam on all fronts. I'm surrounded by spam. Missing appointments. And who do I have to blame? In reality. Not having systems in place. I knew I had an appointment coming up. I should have been checking. I could have called and asked. I could have done multiple things. But I didn't. I was taking one moment, one day, one moment at a time, knowing it was coming up, thinking it was going to come in on a text, which it did, but I didn't see it because I didn't recognize it and it didn't have a name attached. So I didn't even open it. If I would have opened it, I would have saw it. But I don't open up spam. I just ignore it. But there was other ways I could have checked. All right. That's where I'm leaving you with today. A whole lot of chaos. And why? Because I wasn't practicing peace for a while. It's been a while. Because it's like when you're taking medication and you're feeling good and you're like, oh, I feel good. I don't need my medication. When you're supposed to be on your medication all the time. You can't just decide not to take it. Well, the same thing with peace. Practicing peace. Take your peace pill. Not a literal pill. It's the renewing of your mind. and thinking on these thoughts. All right. Thank you, Renee, for watching. Thank you, Elizabeth, for watching. And I will see you tomorrow for Tips Tuesday. Even though I gave a tip today. Probably a couple of them. All right. Blessings. Have a great day. Bye. I don't think I had a Feisty Friday. It's okay. It was the holiday. It's a continuation of the holiday. All right. Bye.